Okay, so it seems like we have another update on the whole Wuthering Waves situation going on with Google Play and the rating. If you guys don't remember, I've made a couple of videos on this. Obviously, the first one being that Wuthering Waves actually had their age rating changed to 16 plus, which a lot of people were very confused about, and this was due to, in quotation marks, nudity. Now, many people speculated what this might be. Maybe it was characters, for example, Cantarella, and obviously, you know, Fleurdelys, and also we've had other characters as well, like the bosses, like Lorelei. So again, we've had a couple of characters in there which could kind of fall underneath that, and obviously a lot of people were speculating what this might have been about. Well, it seems like we had an answer to that after Wuthering Waves actually brought out some changes to some of the characters, being Cantarella and Fleurdelys, and they actually censored some of it, which a lot of people were very angry about. Now, I've covered all of that drama in previous videos if you guys want to see that, but pretty much Wuthering Waves actually issued a response yesterday in their patch notes talking about this, saying that, hey guys, you know, this was just a very quick fix and that we plan to make it better, you know, moving forwards. And well, obviously, you know, a lot of people speculated that it was the Chinese government that were pretty much telling them to change up some stuff, else their game is going to stay as 16 plus, which again, so they kind of like got the video flagged and then, yeah, it got rated as 16 plus, which, you know, Wuthering Waves clearly don't want, as it actually got changed back down to a 12. So I checked on my Google Play as well. It says Peggy 12 here as well. So it's not just a region-based thing. Wuthering Waves is now back to a 12 plus. So again, that's really great news to hear. If that's what Wuthering Waves want for their game, then that is really great for them, because again, it means they can actually advertise to more advertisers. I've seen a lot of people in my comments talking about the fact of like, why didn't they just make it a higher rating? Why didn't they just keep it at that? And with the main, you know, factor of that is advertising and the way that they can actually advertise their game. It will definitely stunt the growth of Wuthering Waves if they were to increase the age rating by quite a bit, because again, some advertisers won't want to work with them. Some kind of play stores or whatever might not want to put the app up on there just because of the age rating. And honestly, Wuthering Waves doesn't really need to go that high in terms of age rating either. It's not really necessary. It's just a couple of changes they needed to fix. And this pretty much confirms everything we need to know about, you know, what actually happened in this situation. It does seem like it was the case of the Chinese government telling them, hey, you need to fix this. We've changed the rating for now, but you can, you know, get it back just by fixing some of the issues that you have in your game. And then, yeah, Wuthering Waves released that quick fix that we all saw, and now they're back to a 12, which honestly, this drama took about like a couple of days or so. Now, obviously, Wuthering Waves haven't actually like released an official kind of, I guess, statement on the fact that the age rating has changed or anything. They only issued a statement on the fact that they changed the Fleurdelys design and that they changed, you know, some of the smaller details. They never even mentioned Cantarella and some of her design changes. And well, it seems like it has worked for them, seeing as it's gone down to a 12, but it would be nice just to get a message from Wuthering Waves being like, hey, we just recently had this issue, you know, it's all going to be fine, we're all going to sort it out. Obviously, they've mentioned it to do with Fleurdelys, but we haven't heard anything about, you know, just the state of Wuthering Waves in general, especially how the community has been getting so on this as well. You know, this is one of the biggest things that's happened in the community recently. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a big deal, you know, the age rating changing, but it seems like a lot of people were very mad and angry at the fact that this had happened and that some of the characters have been censored as a result. And obviously, I found out in another video that, you know, there was this group apparently behind a lot of this that could potentially be behind this, and that they were the ones like kind of reporting this to the Chinese government, because apparently the CCP, they do not go and look for games. They don't go out of their way to look for other Wuthering Waves, other, you know, games that could be kind of, you know, infringing these kind of age rating things. Instead, they rely on player-based reports, and there's this group called, I forgot what it's called, it's some Chinese name, beginning with like an X. And pretty much it was a group of Hoyoverse players which were very extreme, and pretty much it's not just like a group of people that are just in the group and they dislike it and maybe they won't even interact with the group later on and like half the members aren't really active. No, this is one of these groups where you had to like, you know, do some kind of, I guess, trials, tests or whatever, and you get kicked out for inactivity and stuff. So this was like a 20k group full of active people. This wasn't a 20k group with like half the people active, 3/4 of the people active. This was a full group that was going ahead and reporting it. And obviously, as you can imagine, you know, the Chinese government getting a ton of these reports all at once, they're definitely going to check out the game. And obviously they found something in Wuthering Waves, which then causes us to have this right now. Now that is the main narrative that is going around at the moment of what has happened. But obviously there could be many other reasons as well, because the original post for that original group, it was made by like some Twitter user, and obviously the forum wasn't exactly that clear. But, you know, the group itself has been mentioned in many previous cases to do with like stuff like Genshin Impact, which again does kind of confirm its legitimacy, but it doesn't confirm the fact that they were involved in this situation. So it would be interesting if there's anybody from the Chinese community that could kind of reach out and, you know, show us this information that they were directly involved with this particular kind of situation, because again, it could be a number of different reasons, or it could like literally just be like one guy reported it because they weren't happy with the Cantarella design. And then the Chinese government looked at it and, well, you know, now we're here. You know, there's so many different theories floating around the fact of like, you know, will it change? And obviously, yeah, people were very happy that it's better. They say, yep, the 16 plus was probably forced due to the Play Store reports. That's why they had to rush the changes and get the rating back ASAP. At least that's my assumption, which I think is everyone's assumption, to be honest. Obviously, this person says, whoa, it's back, let's go. They say all they had to do was censor a bunch of stuff, hooray. They did address the models and told us they'll be working on it, which again, it's good. They are working on it, and they are trying to give us a better solution to some of these models, rather than just being like, okay, we're going to change it, you have to suck it up because the Chinese government says so. No, they're actually going ahead and creating some other kind of options for people and kind of making a best solution for everyone in terms of censorship for the government side, but also from just a player enjoyability side. Now, there has been a lot of hate, which I'm definitely going to talk about in another video towards a lot of this stuff, and also talking about this kind of Hoyoverse based group quite a bit, like it was like complete facts or anything. I do want to go into that in a separate video and just like have a whole thing talking about why we shouldn't blame every single situation on this one group in the future, now that we know about it. But if it was caused by this, then yeah, obviously it's a huge L for that kind of community, and the fact that, you know, they've even done this in the first place. And obviously it kind of brings an end to this entire situation as a whole. I don't think I'll be making any more videos unless, you know, maybe they release another character which gets censored. But I think there's a lot of people that are getting mad over pretty much nothing, and there's been also some other situations of some people wanting refunds and things, which again will also be another separate video. I've got a ton of stuff planned to do with Wuthering Waves and the overall community, because again, this has been pretty spicy so far, and it's been quite enjoyable to cover, to be honest, because it's something that has been ever evolving. It's been something that has been constantly going on, and obviously I've been making almost like today I've made like 5 videos today, like all different kinds of things to do with Wuthering Waves, Genshin, and other things. There's been so much going on in the gacha community lately, and it's actually been really, really nice. Like, not, you know, it's not nice the fact that this is happening to the game, but it's been nice for me to cover, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the content as well, because, again, I do think that it being rated a 12 is definitely going to be better for the advertisers and getting the game out there and getting it promoted to more people, because whenever you start promoting a 16 plus game, especially in some areas which are a little bit more stricter, it becomes a little bit kind of weird, and obviously some people won't really like the fact that it's being advertised, so they just won't. And that, I think, is one of the reasons why Wuthering Waves don't want to go to a 16 plus, and why being a 12 plus is so great for the game right now. But overall, the community feedback seems to be pretty good, especially since that feedback that Wuthering Waves actually put out. As I said, they put out something in the patch notes talking about it, and I think since then, a lot of people have been much more happier at the fact that Kuro Games did respond, because I think the main anger that was coming from a lot of the players was the fact that Kuro Games hasn't responded to this. Why haven't they done this? And I think they had a little bit of like Hoyoverse PTSD, you know, because Hoyoverse, they don't reply to anything. They just make the change, don't speak about it, and then we just forget about it. And then obviously the game gets worse and worse and worse. Whereas with Kuro Games, they tried to do something a little bit different here and actually respond to the players and tell them what's going on. But I would like a little bit more clarity on some more specific stuff about, you know, the 16 plus rating, and also some specific stuff to do with Cantarella's design as well. Because as I said, they only mentioned Fleurdelys' design. But overall, it is still a one-up on a lot of these companies in the fact that they're being very communicative with a lot of their players and with just whatever is going on. And I think that is just a really good kind of thing for wuwa. Like, obviously, I know there's been all of this drama lately and all of this kind of stuff, people hating the game, everything like that, due to these changes. But honestly, I think this entire situation has turned out to be a pretty good thing for Kuro, because it's one of those things where it kind of boosts up the, I guess, it's like the kind of IP, or like the company itself, because obviously we've had many situations in the past where devs have listened, you know, obviously the meme, devs listened, but also like this is much more on a wider scale. A lot more people have seen this, and I think this is definitely going to capture, you know, a lot of people's like kind of interest. And I think people are going to really understand that the fact that Kuro Games is trying to do something different. They're not just one of these games that maybe had like a one-off kind of thing that they changed, which wasn't really that important. Whereas this, it seems much more important. People are much more kind of invested, even from other communities. I've seen it all over on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Literally every single community is talking about this. and it's one of these big events that, you know, Kuro Games can really showcase, hey, we're a company that actually listens, we're a company that actually speaks to our players and actually keeps you informed on what's going on. Maybe it takes a little bit of time, but yeah, it's pretty much going good. And if they can fill us in on some of the other stuff, that would also add to this kind of thing as well. But we got the anniversary coming up soon, so I'm very excited for that. And hopefully we can all just carry on, enjoy the game, and hopefully this will be the last kind of video I make talking specifically about what Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves are doing with their age rating systems at the moment. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this change. Do you think that they should have changed it back to a 12? And do you think, you know, what do you think actually happened behind the scenes? Obviously, I'll explain my reasons why I think it happened, but maybe you got a different kind of theory or something like that, or maybe you got something that, you know, you wanted to talk about this kind of situation as a whole. But overall, pretty good news from Wuthering Waves, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.